Chapter 13. About Turn. The collectors. Locke saw the boys as he turned the corner into the high street. They were coming out of a shop, licking ice creams. He slowed his pace, wondering what would be the best approach. Both of them were about 13 and didn't look the types to be intimidated by a tough manner. This, he knew, was going to be the hardest part. He forced back the smile and strolled up to them. "Have you boys been over at the new reservoir?" he asked lightly. They stared at him and then looked quickly at each other. "Not us," said the one in the white shirt. He was carrying a bulging haversack. Locke looked him in the eye. "Oh, that's funny," he went on. "I was over there about half an hour ago and I was quite sure you were the boys I saw." He made his voice easy and frank. "Look, this isn't trouble. I've got no authority of any wanting to know if you were there bird nesting. Now, come on, you were there, weren't you?" They looked uncomfortable and after a pause, Ginger shrugged and said, "Okay, yes, we've been nesting over there." "So what?" Locke decided they were all right. "I'm thirsty, and I expect you are. Wait till I get some drinks and we'll talk the whole thing over." He was afraid they might bolt while he was in the shop, but they did not. When he had passed over the bottles of lemonade and taken a swig from his own, he said, "Let's sit on the bank over there and I'll explain what I have in mind." "Fairly," said Ginger in a voice rich with disinterest as he gazed fixedly at an Evening Standard poster across the road. The second boy, who had eager eyes set in a thin sunburnt face, spoke for the first time. "Ginger's got a super collection of eggs," he said, 43 different kinds all collected by himself. "Mine's not too bad either," he added. "I've got nearly 30 and I started after he did." "Is that so?" said Locke. "I used to collect eggs myself, although I never got up to the 40 mark. Of course, the drawback about egg collecting is that it leaves 9 months in the year when you can't do anything. That's the fun of bird watching. You've got a much wider scope." Ginger maintained a frigid silence, but his friend became more talkative. "I like watching birds too," he said, "but with egg collecting, well, I mean when you've got an egg, you've something real, haven't you? That's where note-making and photographs come in." Locke answered, "Personally, I find them more interesting. After all, eggs are pretty much alike, but a record book going back a few years is full of things worth remembering." The boy conceded a point. "Oh yes, I keep a notebook, but I like keeping eggs as well," he pointed out. "It's a jolly good feeling when you find a rare one. We got a barn owls this afternoon," he added with pride. Casually, Locke asked, "What else did you find?" There was silence for a few moments and then Ginger said, "We got these from the reservoir," and he pulled his haversack to the front, opened it and drew out a tin box lined with cotton wool. Inside, with 2 white oval eggs of a barn owl, 2 red shanks and 2 spotted flycatchers, were the 4 eggs he knew so well. His voice still casual, he said, "Yes, I rather thought you'd have those. How did you know we had?" Ginger demanded resentfully. He did not answer directly. "Do you know what they are?" he asked. The second boy butted in. "Well, Ginger thinks they're ringed plovers because he says he saw one there, although I didn't. My bet is that they're terns, as there were quite a few around. We were going to look them up in Cowards when we got home. Of course," he explained, "we don't usually take the whole clutch, but neither of us had seen any like them before, and we thought we'd be on the safe side and have 2 each in case one ever got broken." Locke said, "You wouldn't have found what they were from Cowards. You see, those eggs belong to one of the rarest birds in Britain. The thin-faced boy gave a whistle of excitement, and even Ginger allowed interest to creep into his face. "Is that on the level?" he said. "What are they?" "They're the eggs of a bird called the little ringed plover," Locke began. As far as is known, it had never bred in Britain before 1938. Since then, there have been fewer than a dozen nests in the whole country, and oddly enough, most of those have been in this area. It's obviously trying hard to establish itself as a permanent breeder, but we can't be sure yet that it will succeed. It's tough going for it, as you can imagine, and he glanced swiftly at the boys. "Every nest counts. I've been watching the nest you took the eggs from for a week now, and I was hoping the young would get away." He took a deep breath. "Now I'm going to ask you to do something very hard. I told you I'd been an egg collector myself, and I know how I would have felt if someone had asked me to do what I'm asking you. But I'm hoping you are a bit more sensible than I was at your age. I can understand what those eggs mean to you, especially now you know what they really are. But I want you to put them back in the nest." Before they could speak, he went on quickly. "I want to make it clear that I can't force you to do this. I could probably take you to a policeman and ask him to charge you for taking protected eggs. But that would be no use. It wouldn't save the eggs, and that's all I'm concerned about. If you feel you'd rather hang on to them, well, that's that. They'll certainly look very nice in the cabinet, and I shan't try to stop you putting them there. But it is very important that these eggs hatch. Well, what do you